Hi, everybody. Welcome to St. Matthew's House Thrift Stores, what I believe is one of the finest thrift stores in the United States. And we're right here in the breezeway of our lovely area. We call it the breezeway because there's always a breeze here. And even when it's pouring down rain in the summer, this is a place where people can pull in and drop off their donations. We find that we want to make it as easy as possible for our donors to come here. My name's Jamie Shedden. I've been with St. Matthew's House. I'm actually in my 16th year. I ran a Christian bookstore for a number of years, and you can be really good at running a Christian bookstore just like you could be really good at being a Blockbuster video manager. Those things went away. So one night I was worried about what I was going to do and praying about it, and I knew Van Ellison. He walked into the store that night and he said, hi to me. And I said, Van, if you ever need a manager for your thrift store, would you be interested in calling me? And he told me that he had been praying that evening for a godly man, somebody to come and be a manager for his thrift stores. And so I look at that and I see what it comes back to is God's hand in what we do and being faithful for what we're given. And that's kind of the business plan we have at St. Matthew's House, is be faithful. Matthew 25, of course, is where we get the story of Jesus talking about doing unto the least of these. But it's also a story where Jesus talks about a leader that went off, and when he left, he gave one of his servants, he gave him 5 talents to use, and he gave another one 3 talents to use, and then the third one he gave 1 talent. And when he came back, the one that had the 5 was able to double those. The one that had the 3 doubled those. The one that had 1 was afraid that his leader would not treat him well, so he just took it and buried it. And the Lord said that this leader said to the one that did 5, well done, and he gave him more responsibilities. The one that had 3, he gave him more. The one that had 1, he was upset with him. And because he could have at least taken it and invested it. And so we look at that as part of the stewardship of what we do and being faithful. God says if you're faithful with the little things, it'll give you much more. And when I started here in 2005, we had 1 thrift store. And we've grown to where we have 6 stores. And we have this big, beautiful one here where people can pull through, drop off donations. We can give them a bottle of water, a tax receipt. We have these, the men and women that work out here are really super nice. I keep telling them, I want people to feel like the old days when they'd pull in the gas station, they'd change, check their oil and all those kind of things. We don't check oil, but we treat people really well. So I want to just show you around the property here. If you all want to walk with me. So as you can see, people just pull up. They don't even have to get out of their car. We're able to take their donations right out here on the table. We usually have a pretty good sized crew. We'll take food, we'll take clothing, anything that you have that you can drop off. These guys are ready, willing, and able to unload your car.
You got it. Yep. And do you need a receipt? Yep, we do. Merry Christmas. Oh, Merry Christmas.
Thank you, Jason.
You're welcome, Jamie.
Hey, let me introduce everybody to Jason Pope. So,
Hi.
Jason's been here for a number of years. He's been working. He started in car wash and moved over into this area. Jason, what's St. Matthew's House meant to you and your family?
Well, for me, working here has meant not just a job, but a family, a place where I can openly talk about God and where I can come and be encouraged every day.
That's right. That's good. Thank you. Thank you, Jason. I
You're
really
welcome.
appreciate it. You have another guest.
Yes, I do.
So we're going to walk on back. I want to show you our car wash and what goes on back there, and then we'll come back up into the thrift store area. So a number of years ago, we had a donor that offered to give us the money to buy this property. And we were able to take this property and turn it into something that not only generates revenue for the mission, but it also gives us an opportunity to disciple the men and women that come through our program. So they can come here and they can learn, they can get certified on a forklift. They can learn logistics, how product moves in and out of a warehouse and where it goes, distribution. They can learn retail strategies in our thrift stores. But our idea is not just to have a store that sells stuff and generates money for the mission. That's fantastic that we can do that. But that second bottom line is the lives that we're changing with the men and women that are coming through here. And we see, we have a new staff in our car wash right now. The previous car wash manager came through our program. He learned car wash skills. We sent him to school to get trained in detail, high-end detailing. And now he has his own business and he's out there doing that. We had a young man that came and worked on our trucks, and he worked in the stores. And he said, man, the moving companies that we use, not our guys, but the moving companies, the outside moving companies that do deliveries didn't do that great of a job. And so he took the skills that he learned here and he started Matson Movers, which is one of our partners. And he's doing fantastic. So let's walk on back to the car wash. Any questions? Anybody has?
Yeah, Jamie, with the car wash that we're going to right now, when people come here, what's the general process to get their car washed? They can leave it to get detailed? How does that work?
Absolutely. They pull up into our breezeway. We have a place up there where our car wash manager will meet them, tell them the different packages that are available. If it's just a basic wash, and it's the nice thing is a hand wash. I have a Honda Accord, which isn't something fancy, but you run it through those car washes around town, you're going to get the little swirl marks in your paint. So this is a hand wash, treats your cars a lot better. We'll do a full detail, a whole day here. And we have a way of booking that, and that way you can drop it off and leave it and then pick it up later in the day or the next day if you want. We can lock it back behind our gates at night. So, and we've washed Aston Martins and Ferraris and Lamborghinis, everything. So even Honda Accords. Yeah.
You've got a nice Mercedes-Benz in there right now.
Yeah. Oh, I also want to just mention while we're walking, if you pan over toward these trucks, we have 10 trucks out on the road every day. And one of the things that we do that maybe not a lot of people know is we really want to be responsible neighbors, not just to the people around us, but to our environment. We believe the Lord put us here to be good stewards of the earth. Every one of our trucks are what they call certified clean idle, which means if a truck was just sitting there idling, it's not putting any emissions into the atmosphere. So all 10 of our trucks are certified that way. We really want to be good stewards and not add to the polluting of our environment. So. All right, let me see if I can find John. Well, he might join us here in a little bit. I'm sorry about that. But this car wash area, this used to be a car dealership. And there was one of those drive-through car washes here. And when we moved here, we wanted to try to get it working. It would have cost hundreds of thousands of dollars to get it working, and it never would have really done what we want it to do. So we got rid of all that equipment, and we bought this equipment. Automobile detailing is actually a very good career for young people. They could go and, they could go get minimum wage jobs or whatever, but if they learn detailing, they can go right from here into a car dealership or something, make $15, $16 an hour, which is really good starting wage. So we run a lot of cars through here. And I don't know where our guy is right now. I'm sorry about that.
Jamie, what's going on over your shoulder there?
Okay, so when we go out to people's homes and pick up items, occasionally we'll get items that are not in good condition. Now I'm going to show you our repair and refurbishing department. And we do a lot of repairs and we try to keep things out of a dumpster, but occasionally we have to put stuff in the dumpster. I actually hate that. So we've got many places where we can send things for salvage and stuff like that. But occasionally there's just something that's not going to sell. It's not workable. We can't fix it. So we put it in dumpsters. We have this tractor. What we found is the waste company charges us by the pound and by the pull. So we bought that tractor a few years ago, and if we can put 3 times the stuff in a dumpster, we still get charged by the pound, but we're saving about $300-400 every time they pull a dumpster. So that's just another thing of being a good steward of what we do. And so it's unfortunate that things have to get crushed up and put in there. Let me take you where our operators work. And I want to tell you something. When I started at St. Matthew's House, we had the cashier was answering the telephone, and she was allowed to book between 6 and 9 stops a day. Now we have 4 full-time operators answering the phone. They get hundreds of calls a day, and they book usually around 70 to 80 stops a day, and those are scheduled to fill every single truck that we have on the road. So let's walk around. Watch your step here. Yeah. I'll try not to take the shortcuts. We're going to go around in this door. So you got to remember, this was a car dealership, right? So this is where they worked on cars and all this. So we've taken every inch of the space that we can use, and we use it for our thrift business and the mission of St. Matthew's. Oh, and so these are 2 of our operators, and I'm going to introduce you to Jamie, because are you on the phone with somebody right now? Okay. How about you, Shayla? Are you on the phone? Okay. So Shayla, we're doing a live video about St. Matthew's House, and if you could just take a minute and share what St. Matthew's House has meant to you, what it's been like in your life.
St. Matthew's has absolutely transformed my whole entire life. I went through Jill's Place through the year-long program. I graduated back in July, and it's absolutely turned my life around. This place is so godly and so protected by God that, you just can't fail,
Right.
So, it's absolutely changed my life, and I'm so grateful for everything that St. Matthew's does. Thank you.
It's really good. Thank you, Shayla. And now your phone's ringing. So when I started here, cashier ringing up people would reach over, grab the phone. Hello, let me put you on hold. And they would try to schedule these stops. So now these operators, they have a tracking program that shows where the trucks are. You can see the map, so they know if we're in your neighborhood and you call and maybe that truck had a cancellation, they can say, hey, let me see if the truck in your neighborhood right now can take your stuff. It's hard right now because of COVID and the way things have changed. A lot of people, they're very picky about what kind of furniture they'll buy. And so we have to be careful on what we're picking up. If something's really dirty, it's just not safe for everybody. So we end up having to let our drivers turn down some things. But this used to be a place where we worked with clothing. And yes.
Jamie, looking at the computer, it seems like it's very highly organized process. You talked about all the trucks in the different areas and everything like that. How long did it take to get to that process? You said when you first began, you were picking up the phone. How long did it get where it was so streamlined?
So what I did, I went around to all the different thrift stores in Florida that I heard about, and I saw what they did, and I couldn't find anybody that did what I wanted to do. So if you see the spreadsheet on the left side, that was one we created in-house that actually tracks cubic foot on a truck. So as we're scheduling your couch, your bag of clothing, those kind of things, it's increasing we call them points on a truck, and a truck can hold 100 points. And once that truck's full, they know to start scheduling the next truck. So that was something we had to create ourselves. The mission of St. Matthew's House is changing lives, as you all know. The vision is to be a model agency, and so that's a great thing that we are becoming that model agency, that other people are coming to see what we do. But boy, it sure is hard walking that path sometimes. Because when you go to buy software to do something, people say, nobody does that. You guys are the only ones doing that. So we have a couple software companies we work with. We can actually see inside the cab of the truck what's going on, both in the cab and in front of them, and real-time tracking of each truck, which is great if we have an accident or a fender bender. But we also have the way of, if Bob calls us today and donates something and he calls in a week, we don't have to say, what's your name? Because as soon as we hear the phone number, we've got your name in a database. A lot of thrift organizations don't have that. Another thing that we have the ability to do that a lot of people haven't really become aware of yet, there's tax laws out there about if an item's over a certain value, you have to have the sale tracked. And so we have the ability to take your 10 items and we sign you as a vendor of those 10 items, and then we can give you the tax form you need showing what those items sold for. As far as we know, we're the only ones in the area that are doing that. And so you have to ask, you have to tell us that you want it, and you really need an appraisal of your items. Ask your tax advisors, because they're the one that'll tell you if you need one of those special forms. It's called an 8283 form.
And if someone is actually out there thinking about donating something, but maybe they don't know if it's enough to maybe send a truck out, what are the requirements that they have to send actually a truck out to someone's home to pick things up?
Yeah, we try to limit it now. I used to tell people we'd come pick up a bag of clothing, but we're so behind right now trying to get out there to everybody. We're limited on the amount of space we have on our trucks. If you can bring it in your car, bring it to one of our stores. Best thing to do is call us, and it's the 774-3315 number, and just tell them what you have, and the operators can tell you if it's something we can take. They may tell you it's going to take a week or two before we can get there, and that may help you decide if there's another way to get it here, right? But there's really nothing that we don't like to take. We don't want to take anything that's going to have to go in a dumpster. That's one of my least favorite things we do, is putting stuff in a dumpster. So we prefer not to have anything broken or damaged. If it was built into a house, kitchen cabinets, things like that, those are really hard for us to work with. So I'd like to show you what we do with items we get that might not be sellable, how we can turn those things around. Thank you, gentlemen. So there's a lot of things that we do that go on around us that I don't know how interesting it would be to you at home, but we try to make everything a lot more efficient in what we do. We have our own fuel tank on property, so our trucks don't have to go to the racetrack gas station in the mornings. We try to do as much as we can on this property. So there are times where we'll go around these storage units. There are times that we go to somebody's house and they give us some really nice things, but there's a few pieces that we just can't sell, and those do unfortunately end up in a dumpster. If you're okay, we're going to keep walking. But sometimes we get something that's just scratched, or maybe a leg's broken on a chair. If it's something that we can fix, I'm going to introduce you to a couple guys that do a fantastic job repairing those items. We've even taken items and repurposed them. We were able to repaint them. We do a lot of chalk paint, things like that. We have an area back here where we do that, but we'll walk through here and I'll introduce you.
Jamie, this warehouse looks huge. How many square feet is it, and how much does it hold?
Wow. It holds a lot more than it's supposed to sometimes. This one's 8,000 square feet, and then we have about 4,000 square feet over there that we use as overflow. So it holds a lot. Hey, John Mead. I'd like to introduce you to everybody. Yeah.
Hello, everybody.
Yeah, so John, tell them a little bit about what you do here at St. Matthew's and how long you've been here.
Well, what I do here is to repair and clean furniture. We revitalize things, stabilize things. Oftentimes we get furniture donated to us that needs to be cleaned. The paint job might be a little bit damaged, or it might be missing some parts. And we've developed a pretty good supply of spare parts here, and we've gotten pretty good at revitalizing the furniture, stabilizing it, replacing missing parts, and that way we can put the things in our stores, and that's what the operation is about.
That's right. So did you come to St. Matthew's House in this position, or did you come in a different position?
I came here as a driver.
Okay. So I want to tell you a story. So John was one of our drivers, and we were getting this location. And John came to me and he said, I have an idea of repairing furniture and things like that. So you actually did like a business plan that you gave me. I remember it was like 7 pages or 9 pages or something, right?
I did. I worked it up on the computer so that we could have a written proposal to submit to the board.
Yeah.
And the board accepted the proposal.
Yeah.
That was about 7 years ago, and we've been pretty successful ever since.
That's right. We've done a great job. And just like the men and women that come into the program at St. Matthew's House, we want to take something that maybe the world's throwing away, and we want to turn it around and make it something new, something that we can put back into society. So the program does that with people. John and his team, they do that with everything from bicycles to really expensive pieces of furniture. So let me tell you a little bit about our warehouse. So like I said, it's 8,000 square feet. We have it divided up into different rows, and those different rows are different stores. We also have a 10,000 square foot warehouse in our Fort Myers location. So what they do here is the trucks unload at the end of the day. We have a warehouse manager that sorts that product into the different bays for the different stores. So when the trucks go out in the morning, you can see this says Bonita, one down there says Naples, and another one says Naples 2, which is this store. And so those things get loaded into those different bays. So when the truck shows up in the morning to take the product out to the store, they've already got an order. What's great about that is the product that's in that bay is exactly what the store needs. When we started and we had one store, we might have sold dining room tables today, and tomorrow got couches. So now we didn't have any dining room tables, but we had 20 couches. So now if a store sells couches, they can say, hey, send me some couches. I've worked with thrift stores all over the United States as part of an association of Christian thrift stores. I work with some of the finest managers in the business. And we had them here a couple years ago, and they took a tour and they walked around, and they were amazed at the quality of product that comes in. And it really is, we have some of the finest donors in the world. And we want to make sure we treat them well too. So we make it easy for them to donate. Then we make sure every single one of them gets thanked.
Jamie, what's the white glove experience?
Well, that really, we've always done a good job when we've gone into somebody's house. But since COVID, we wanted to make sure that people weren't nervous about us walking in. So all of our drivers have gloves and masks. And, sometimes the masks slide down a little bit. It's hot out there. But they try to keep the masks on. They have hand sanitizer. We're practicing all CDC guidelines. In our warehouse, somebody might ask, well, I see guys working here that don't have masks on. We consider this outside. There's a lot of air blowing through here. And so we do look at the CDC guidelines. If you come into one of our stores, our people will be wearing masks. We do practice the social distancing. If somebody comes to work with a temperature, we have them, we make them go home. We make them get tested. And we've had people get COVID, but we haven't really had it spread throughout the organization. So we've done a pretty good job with it. So White Glove is just really taking that to the next level. If these guys came into your mom's house, I would want them to treat your mom really well, right? Not because she's your mom, but I want them to treat everybody like it's their mom or their dad. I want them to go in and they're saying, yes, sir, yes, ma'am, thank you, we really appreciate it. In some cases, praying with people. If you're in a home and you see, wow, this lady's donating a lot of men's furniture or men's clothing, and they just sometimes it's the Holy Spirit, and they say, ma'am, did you lose your husband? and sometimes they'll break down, and it's a good time for us to offer and pray with them. And then sometimes the guys on the trucks are graduates from our program, and they're able to say, because of people like you and because of someone like your husband and his clothing, going, and we're able to sell it and give it to people, it allows me to go through this program and turn my life around. So let's go up into the store. I don't know, are we doing good on time?
Doing good.
Okay. I'll tell you something about clothing. Made a big impact on me when I first started here, and it's been magnified many times. So when I first started here, we used to tell everybody we did about 2,000 pieces of clothing a day. That's about 10,000 pieces of clothing a day. So when you think about the logistics, and this is linen, clothing's over here, the logistics behind that, think about 10,000 hangers a day. You have to hang that many pieces of clothing, unhang them, move the hangers back to where the people are hanging them, move them, or need them. And oh my gosh, it gave me nightmares when I started here. And that's why volunteers are such a big part of what we do. We have about 108 full-time employees in the thrift stores. All of our stores, our warehouses, our trucks. We couldn't do it without volunteers. And COVID's really hampered that a lot. A lot of people aren't ready to come back and volunteer. But if you're wanting to volunteer, connect with us through our website and the volunteer hub. We would love to have you. And we'll create a safe environment for you to work. So again, all the clothing's processed. We try to make everything work in a real smooth line. It comes off the trucks, it comes in here, they sort it into the different containers, then it goes into an area in there where they hang it, tag it, price it, and it's ready to go out to the stores. We do the same thing with what we call wares, which are items that aren't clothing or furniture. I want to introduce you to somebody while we're in this area. Hey, David, could you come over? Hi, Gloria. Hi. So, David, would you like to tell them who you are and what St. Matthew's House has meant to you?
Absolutely. My name is David Walker. I've been with the program about 3 years now. Everyone has a story. My story, out of nowhere, I ran into depression from 2008 until I came into this program. And the program, what it did for me mostly is gave me a relationship with God. And within about a month, my depression completely vanished, so, and since then I haven't had one bad day since in over 3 years, so about 3 years. And it does so much for me. It gives me joy, peace, happiness, and able to me to focus on helping other people and not to focus so much on myself. So
very good. Thank
you,
David. Yeah. I also want to introduce you to, oh my gosh, where did he go? Jason, come back. Yeah, I stopped him right here and then he disappeared. Jason Bonner is he's been a store manager with us. I don't know, you've done it all with me. Jason's just been a tremendous, not only just a great coworker, he's a great friend. I'd like if you could just take a minute and share what St. Matthew's House has meant to you and what you do.
St. Matthew's House means a lot to me and a lot of the people, friends that I've met along the way. I was in a really bad spot before I came here, and I shouldn't even be here. And through working here, I've learned so much. I've learned how to be a manager, be a leader. I've learned about all kinds of wonderful things that our donors donate to us that makes all this possible. And I'm just really grateful of everything. And
you went through the program.
Yes,
right?
I went through the program. I stayed behind in LaBelle for a little while to mentor and intern, and I helped out in the kitchen down there. And I finally decided it was time to move on, and I came out here and applied for a position in the thrift store. And Alex, who is my supervisor now, was the original person that hired me. And it's just been a fantastic journey this whole time.
All right. Thank you very much, Jason. So that's one of the things about discipleship that we talk about. You get somebody coming in that I was talking to one of the guys yesterday, and he said, this is going to be the first Christmas ever in my life that I've been sober. And he wasn't really sure how to handle it, how to deal with it. And it gives us a chance to speak to those men and women and just to be able, things we take for granted that we can share with them. And that's really the most important part about what we're doing here. We are generating revenue. We generate a sufficient number of revenue, amount of revenue that if you gave us a $100 check, that $100 check wouldn't go to pay our CEO's salary or my salary. It goes right to helping men and women that are in our program, people staying at our shelters, and also our feeding ministries. So I'm going to take you in here and show you America's finest thrift store. This area that we're entering into used to be the parts room. That was where they would work on cars, and then this was a parts room. And it was funny because they have these fire doors. And because, you know, if a car caught on fire or something, they could shut it off from the rest of the building. But anytime our alarm would go off, these doors would just come sliding down really fast. And there's windows that had those things on them too. So this area was always kind of funny. But we're going to walk on through. This is where clothing is being processed for this store. This is going to be the best of the best product coming in here. They process clothing out there that goes to the other stores, and then the product coming into this store because it's a boutique store.
Jamie, there are obviously thousands upon thousands of items. How does it generally work, pricing of it? Who decides that?
Well, I say even. Our volunteers, who are the most valuable people we have a system that was designed for thrift stores. I've been in retail for almost 30 years now. And for me to try to figure out how can we barcode every single item, it would be a million SKUs. And so with this system, they price it, they just go right through. They say it's a woman's blouse, what size it is it in good condition, better condition, best condition, and those are preset prices for us. And then there's certain brands that we pull off and set aside, which are boutique items, where we actually research them and come up with those prices. So all this product, when it goes through, it'll have a barcode tag on it, and they're all different colors because every week we have a different color on sale. If something's out on the floor 3 weeks, we're ready for it to move on. And if it doesn't sell, we'll pull it, send it to another store. You can see the clothing, and don't let this fool you. This doesn't mean we don't need more clothing. This is just how much clothing we go through daily. So years ago, you don't walk away. Years ago, we had a donor that gave us a lot of store fixtures. They were remodeling a department. And we were really appreciative, and we used those fixtures in our store. A couple years after that, they remodeled another department, and I went and talked to the manager, and I said, hey, are we going to get any of your stuff? And he said, no. And I said, well, why not? And he said, well, nobody thanked us for the last stuff that we gave you. And that was a fail on my part. I assumed somebody else was going to do it. So back then, we made a decision that we were going to hire a donor relations person to work just in thrift. And so I'd like to introduce you to Angela.
Hi.
You want to say something about St. Matthew's House, what it's meant to you, what you do?
Absolutely. First and foremost, we want to thank our absolutely amazing donor base because we have such a support from the community, from Collier and Lee County. So we're just so appreciative of that. I work directly with donors, realtors, and builders, all these folks that are wanting to donate. So I work hand in hand with them. And like Jamie mentioned, just to really express our appreciation to them for what they're giving to us, the donations and the support, because we couldn't do what we do without them. So we're excited about the opportunity to do this every day and to see lives changed.
I've sat up in the development department when they were making phone calls and thanking people for their donations. And we try, as far as I understand, call every donor and say thank you. It doesn't matter the size. And I was up there one day, and the lady that was on the phone said, no, we're just calling to thank you. And the other person was like, you're not asking for money? And she's like, no, we just wanted to thank you for what you've already done. Now, we might ask for money sometime, but I mean, the whole point is we got to be thankful to the people that are giving us. And then we have to be good stewards of what they do, what they give us. So we take those items and we make sure that we're getting the best value that we can for those items. If you give me a $50,000 hutch, I don't want to sell it for $100. So we find out what those things are worth and we try to sell them for the best amount of money we can. So this is where our volunteers work in this store. Most of the time it's volunteers. Since COVID, we've had some staff back here. There's Lucille. Wave, Lucille, say hi. So this is where they research the product. We have several computers back here, so they'll look the items up and find out what the retail price was and then what we believe market value is, and we sell it. The number one complaint we get in this store is that our prices are a little high. But again, we owe it to our donors to try that. If we can't get the full value for the item here, then we'll send it to one of our other stores and we'll meet that need there. So I'm going to walk you into our Christmas area. Go through the curtains and doors and everything. Come on in and look around. I don't hear our Christmas music playing right now. It might be between songs. But you look around at the decorated trees and everything here, and it looks like people spent a long time doing this, and they have, but they have to change this every day. These items sell and move out, and we have to re-merchandise it every day. Yeah. You want to come on over this way a little bit, Mike? Yeah. So I'm going to introduce you to Stephanie. Stephanie is the manager of our boutique store. So if you want to just share a little bit about you and what working at St. Matthew's House means.
Sure. Well, hi, Facebook. I wish you guys were all here shopping with us. And hi, Mom. I think you're watching too. So it's such an honor to really be a leader here at this team. And really, it was through my mom how I learned about St. Matthew's House. When she was going through breast cancer, St. Matthew's actually gave her hope, and they prayed with her. And little did I know, I would be working here. And I think this place is like the Disney World of thrift. So if you have not been here, you would absolutely love it. But what I find most is like, Jamie, your shirt. It says, "Hope starts here." I feel like that's what this organization has done for me and my family. And I'm just so honored to be a part of it. And even our team, like you've heard a lot of stories already. It changes your life every day.
Stay here.
And here's one of them right here.
Hello.
This is Elvin.
Elvin's one of our leaders here in the thrift store. Elvin, tell them a little bit about yourself, how you came to be here and what St. Matthew's House has meant to you.
Well, after going through the shelter, I applied vigorously. And, well, after about a month and a half, they gave me a shot. I've been here, and first time in the lead position, first time in Thrift, and it's been a great experience for me, dealing with customers, knowing that what we do has an effect on our community, and it helps the customers when they come in see that it has helped my life and the people that we work with, it helps their lives. And I mean, it's been altogether a great experience for me, and knowing that I do something that's going to help others around me.
So Elvin's, like he said, new to leadership, and I love leadership. I love books. So one of the things we're doing, occasionally we'll get together every couple of weeks and talk and just have like a coaching thing. So I loaded them both up with some of my favorite leadership books. So he's been tasked with reading them, and every once in a while he'll stop me and be like, all right, I'm just like in the first chapter of that one, and there's so much in there, but that's part of what we do. And then Elvin's doing the same thing. We've met with Elvin and one of the guys that reports to him, and he's able to start sharing those things with them. So again, it's that whole discipleship thing. So we'll walk out here so you can really see the store. Do we have plenty of time, Bob, or we're good? Okay, so I'm going to introduce you to another person. We'll step into this room. So years ago, when we first came here to this property, I never really had an office. You don't make any money in an office, and it was just I was out on the floor. So let's come in a little bit further. So this room became my office and has a bathroom back there. And I had several of my coworkers in here, and I had TVs up on the wall that showed cameras in the different stores. This store does 5 times the industry average dollars per square foot sales of any thrift store in the United States, right? This room, when I counted these squares one day, I sat here, I said, this room could do $100,000 in sales in a year. I don't need an office in the store. So I moved out. We put our boutique jewelry room, we call it our House of Style room, St. Matthew's House of Style. And so where we sell jewelry and high-end items, things like that. This room does 8 times the industry average dollars per square foot. I want to introduce you to Lulu. Do you have just like 30 seconds that you could say what St. Matthew's House has meant to you, what it's done for you?
Sure. St. Matthew's house means to me a lot. I can just explain it like what it says in 2 Corinthians 1:20. All the promises of God are yes and amen, yes through Christ. And amen if we take it. And St. Matthew's house has given me, changed my life in so many ways, giving me housing when I was homeless. They told me yes to come back to the possibility to be stronger when I was weak, when I was unable to walk. Told me yes to keep my daughter instead of be taken away. They told me yes to give me a job when I heard no over 100 times, and they changed my life. They received me. They give me hope and love, and they give me this room, my room therapy. Now they give me a the jewelry department lead position. They bless me with that also. As I say, thank you, God, and God bless you forever. I'm very thankful, and I love St. Matthew's house.
See, Lulu is why I do what I do. I mean, she worked here her first year. She was on crutches, and she would walk here. And to see where her life is now, she's got a car now, and she's in leadership. I mean, that's amazing. I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you.
all right, we're going to get out to the showroom, I promise. Oh. So, as you look around in here, this is truly one of the finest thrift stores anywhere. When people come in here, they think a lot of these items are on consignment. They expect there to be that we're buying these things or whatever, but these are all donated by people who believe in the mission of St. Matthew's House and what we do. They've seen that we've been faithful with the little things, and so they've given us greater things. I want to introduce you to one more person while we're in here. Hey, Ashley. So Ashley Deluzio is one of our leaders at St. Matthew's House and in the Thrift organization. I was just going to see if you would just take a minute and share what it's meant to you, what you think about what we do here, how long you've been here.
Hi, I'm Ashley. I came to St. Matthew's House completely broken and homeless and just last resort. Like, I just didn't want to sleep in the streets anymore. I came and I went through Jill's Place, the year-long treatment center, faith-based, and that's when I first found my relationship with God. And then after the program, I started working here at St. Matthew's House Thrift Stores, and today I can say I'm employable. Today I can say I live a life worth living. You know, not only transformed, but worth living. And I'm just really grateful to be here. I'm grateful for St. Matthew's House. Thank you.
Very good, Ashley. So Ashley's also pictured on the side of a couple of our trucks, so you might see her face on there.
It's big.
Yeah, it's bigger than me.
Yes.
Yeah. So, all right, any other questions?
Well, Jamie, probably the biggest question everybody is thinking about is how tall are you?
6'10". Yeah. And the camera does add weight, right, just so if you're asking.
And the other obvious question, did you play basketball?
I did. I met this older guy at dinner one night. He said, "Do people ask you that a lot?" And I said, "Yeah." And he goes, because he was a taller guy. He said, "I always reply, 'Why did you play mini golf?'" And I thought that was a good answer. So
We do have one other question for you from Peter. Peter wants to know, how much does the average thrift store profit per square foot?
the average revenue generated from a high-end thrift store is about $120 to $140 a square foot. We're between $500 and $600 a square foot in this store. That room does close to $1,000 a square foot
What's the
that we were
difference
in.
why St. Matt's does so much better?
It seems like any answer I give is going to be saying that somebody else doesn't do it. But, truly, first of all, we give God the glory for everything. And again, I'm not saying another charity doesn't do that. But for us, that's the biggest thing. We're being good stewards of what God's given us. A lot of retail principles. I'm not a thrift store guy. I'm a retail guy. So if you look around our store, it doesn't look like a thrift store with lines of couches, and we merchandise everything. We have people that their only job is to go around and make sure that everything, so you can visualize what this would look like in my house, right? And then if this sells, they know that I like it 30 minutes or less, it's off the floor and another one's in its place. Because we only have about 7,000 square foot in this room. And this room in the area outside that we merchandise. So to do those numbers, you have to turn that constantly. And that's what we do. And the other thing, I'm a retail guy. I talk to people and I teach these people that don't just let it sell itself, right? We want to talk to you when you come in. We want to find out who you are, what you're looking for, and it gets busy. And sometimes we're not able to do it as well as we want. But we believe it. We call them guests. We don't call them customers. And when you come in, we want to welcome you and we want to treat you that way. And I would love to have people come in and see our stores. We have 6 locations. We have this store at 2601 Airport Road. We have another one 1 mile north, 1115 Airport Road. That's our original thrift store. We have a Benitez store on Old 41, 25091 Burnwood Parkway. We have our Metro location, which is our newest and our biggest store. Beautiful location. That's on Metro. You can go to St. Matthew's House, www.stmatthewshouse.org, and see all those locations listed. We have an Immokalee store. They call it the Mall of Immokalee. It's a beautiful building. And then we have our Broadway location in Fort Myers that was the Miracle Mile Station Post Office. And so those are our stores. Well, I'd like to thank everybody and come in and see us. I'm pretty easy to spot when you walk in the store, so look for me and say hi.